Alright, welcome once again to this month's show on What is Your Story with Dr. Robert. Also remember, once again, we are back. This is a program that happens every Sunday at 6 p.m. only at Romi TV Africa at Dr. Robert Osoro.
Yes. So my brother, so you say that you had started this.
Ulipiga ikaenda kwa wrong number.
Yeah.
Alright, welcome once again to this month's show on What is Your Story with Dr. Robert. Also remember, once again, we are back. This is a program that happens every Sunday at 6 p.m. only at Romi TV Africa at Dr. Robert Osoro.
Yes. So my brother, so you say that you had started this.
Ulipiga ikaenda kwa wrong number.
Yeah.
Alright, welcome once again to this month's show on What is Your Story with Dr. Robert. Also remember, once again, we are back. This is a program that happens every Sunday at 6 p.m. only at Romi TV Africa.
Yo, it's your sports show, it's the Sports Arena with me, Emmanuel Onyango, alongside the most favorite football pundit alongside me.
Yeah, it's your favorite Arsenal fan and Ateta's pundit, Erico. Welcome to the show.
And now, Mr. Erico, we are just going straight to the last night's games whereby your team was...
They were thoroughly thrashed. You know, that game, the total goals which was scored on that night, including those who...
Offside goals.
Yeah, they were 5. That means we were beaten 5-0. Come on, Arsenal, man. Hey, bana.
Yesterday, PSV were... Arsenal dominated the game. Yes,
Yeah.
we said they dominated the game. But they had no
They
scoring ability
they
at
had
all.
no clear chances, no nothing. And half of the team A, not even half. I think it was
a
all,
team A.
only Lokonga was not a team A there. And they were thrashed maze. Bautano, Arsenal maze atakama ni kupigwa.
I know that's so painful to
Yeah,
you.
it's very painful to every Arsenal fan, but we take heart.
You
Ghana
expect
for
them
life.
to bounce back.
Yeah.
But you know, this game, they were supposed at least to win or to draw. Because when they are going to the next game, next Thursday, whereby they will be facing Zurich, they were supposed at least to go with a weaker team. And now this seems like they have to go with a stronger team coming next game because when they are going to meet with Zurich, their next game will be against Chelsea, and they were expected maybe to play as the second team, whereby the first team players to get enough rest to go and play against Chelsea. Now it seems this is going to be a tougher game for them.
Well, I think before even the game of PSV, Arsenal had already qualified for the knockout stages, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's an advantage. That's an advantage, and I think that is why they played a shambolic game yesterday. And another thing is that the teams which were dropped down from the Champions League are really strong. The likes of Juventus, Atletico, Barcelona, and finishing number 2 means you will have to face those teams which were dropped from the Champions League, which will be a really tough test for Arsenal. And I think only good can help Arsenal
At the moment.
at the moment. But I really want them to come back next game stronger. Arteta should we've seen Arteta is a good coach. Arteta is a good coach. I want to see them bounce back. I want to see Arteta's tactic bounce back once again. And it will be good. We just hope and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, on our next game is Manchester United against Sheriff, whereby we saw Manchester United coming out champions, winners in that game, winning 3-0.
Yeah, well, Man United were expected to win because this was a decider game. At least now they are now sure that they are going to the knockout stage. This was a really important game to them. It was a must win, which I can say they really played well. Scoring 3-0. That was a really good game. And let's see them in the round of 16.
And we also saw that their player Anthony was at least showing his skill of spinning. Is that showboating or was just part of the play.
Well, I think that is his signature skill, and since he was at home, he needed that applause. He needed to hear the fans screaming, and which they did. Of course, which they did it very well. I was also impressed. Well, and I think Anthony is a good player. 100 million player is a good player, and I think he's a good player, and he deserved it.
Well, that was Europa League. Most of we were focusing on the key fixtures, whereby it's about Arsenal and Manchester United. Now let's turn our attention on Wednesday Champions League results, whereby we saw some shocking results.
Yeah, of course.
We saw that some teams came back to the Europa League. Teams like Juventus, Barcelona, Sevilla, and also Atletico Madrid. Now all those Spanish teams now are in the Europa League, except Real Madrid. And we can see that also in the game like Ajax against Liverpool. Ajax also are in the Europa League at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, because we see that in their group, Napoli were able to win their game against Rangers. And also we can see that Ajax were beaten 3-0 by Liverpool. So what do you expect about that league, about that about that group, whereby we see that Liverpool ended up being 3-0 winners, and also Napoli becoming 3-0 winners?
Well, what I can say, it was a competitive group. Having Liverpool, Napoli, and Ajax at the same group, it was not easy. And at the same time, I can say it is not going to be easy at the Europa, especially when Ajax come through. Ajax are a great team. We've seen them beat big teams. Yeah, we've seen them thrash big teams very well. And despite it being a competitive group, only the strong can survive. So I will not be shocked if Ajax come and join Arsenal in the Europa League. I will also not be shocked if I see them go through. So it's a matter of win-win.
Okay. And now Barcelona against Bayern Munich, whereby Bayern Munich were victorious with 3-0 again.
Well, I can say Barcelona recently have showed Bayern that they are the masters of the game. Bayern have showed Barcelona that they are masters of the game. With the last 4 appearances between the two teams, Barcelona has never gotten any win, which I think Bayern are a great team. Especially this season, they are on a great run on form. Especially Mane up there, Leroy Sané, they are really racking up goals there, and they cannot fill the void of Lewandowski leaving. It's even Lewandowski who is missing Bayern because he's not scoring, he's not getting those enough moments, and I think he is really missing there. And now he's going to play in the Europa League for the first time in his career, and I think that is something really embarrassing, and I think Bayern deserve the win. Yeah, they really played well.
The other big team that also in the Europa League is Juventus, whereby they were thrashed 4-3 by Benfica.
Yeah, that was a surprise, I must admit. That was a surprise. I expected Juventus to win, but Benfica really showed a great game. And despite Juventus showing, they were 4-1 in the start of the second half. And Juventus showed some resilience to score 2 goals, but they could not get the 4th. And I think some teams should have some humbling from now and then to show them that football is a competitive sport. And the thrashing of Juventus was really deserved, and I can't wait for them to see them play in the Europa League.
Now, the most interesting game that you loved the most on Wednesday was the game against Atletico against Bayern Leverkusen, whereby that game went to more than the extra time that was added, and the game ended up ending in a 2-2 draw, whereby you saw that in the last minutes of the game, before the whistle ended, before even the whistle was blown, we saw that Atletico had a penalty.
Even the game had ended, but the VAR returned the game again. The referee had already blown the final whistle, but the VAR told him to check the penalty decision again. And Atletico had a very good chance to secure a Champions League spot, but it wasn't their day. They missed a penalty, they missed a rebound and a second rebound. It was not their day. And they deserved to go to the Europa League.
That was a very good game. In fact.
It was a good game.
It was a pressurizing game for the Atletico team. They were even the Bayern Leverkusen fans were very happy seeing their team that were able to beat to beat this Atletico side.
Yeah, and another thing about Atletico, the last time they were dropped in the Europa League, they ended up winning it. So I don't know how it will be this time.
Spanish teams are very good in coming to Europa League.
Yeah.
We expect.
Sevilla.
I think this time we can say that the Europa League is more competitive compared to the Champions League, because you can see that teams like Manchester United, Arsenal, Real Sociedad, Benfica, Juventus, Barcelona, Atletico, Sevilla, teams that
Ajax.
now Ajax. We see that this is going to be a very, very, very hard competition for them.
Of course.
And when you focus that, when you come back to the Europa League, we have a team like Roma, where we expected them to top their league, but their table, but they have ended up becoming ending up in a third position.
And they went down to the Conference League.
They might even end up going to the Conference League, because they are tied in points with the second team. I can't know what team is it, but they share 7 points each. And this shows that if they don't win that next game, they might even go back to the Conference League, where they won it last season with Mourinho.
Yeah, that's true, and that is football, my friends. Football is as competitive as ever.
Yeah.
You can never underestimate. You can never predict football 100%. It will always surprise you.
Now let's turn our attention to the English Premier League on this weekend the games that come up this weekend. And on our first game, we are going to focus is Graham Potter going back to his former club Brighton to face his former club. Do you think what do you think about this game? Is he going to prove them that I was one of the biggest coaches, that I'm supposed to lead these big teams?
Well, if you compare Brighton and Chelsea, of course, Chelsea is a much bigger team than Brighton. We expect Chelsea to win, especially in their good run on form.
Yeah.
Chelsea won their Champions League game and proceeded to the round of 16.
Yeah.
They will look to keep the run on form running, and well, Graham Potter will have something to prove. Yeah, he will look to win this game, because if he loses, all eyes shall be on him. And I also expect Graham Potter to win. Chelsea is a big club, and I expect them to win. Yeah.
Now, what are your predictions in that game, Brighton against Chelsea?
Well, Brighton, you can't not underestimate Brighton again. Okay.
In fact, they are at home.
Yeah, and Brighton are at home. They have a really good form at home. But well, I expect some competition. I expect both teams to score, but at the same time, I expect Chelsea to show some resilience, to show the level of technicality they have in their players, and I expect them to win. So this is an expected win for Chelsea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liverpool against Leeds. We can see that Liverpool's are currently shaky in the Premier League, but are proceeding so well in the Champions League. And now we see that in their current game, Liverpool were able to win in their game 3-0 against Ajax. And the previous game before playing Ajax, they were able to...
They were thrashed.
They were will you say thrashed? Because they were beaten by Nottingham Forest 1-0.
Yeah.
Do you think that in this Liverpool game, Liverpool against Leeds, I can't say Leeds are in a very good form, but going to Anfield, will it go to be an easy game for these Leeds players?
Well, Leeds are not in a great run on form. They have lost their last 2 matches by a 1-goal difference, and I think going to Anfield, someone always expects one thing: Liverpool to win.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anfield is a fortress, and Liverpool always do well there, and they will look to come back from their Premier League defeats, and I think this will be an easy game for them, and I expect them to win. Leeds, I expect them to exploit Leeds, and I expect them to win, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
On our next game is the defending champions Manchester City against Leicester.
Well, who's at home? Man City.
Leicester City.
Leicester City. Okay. Well, as long as Haaland is playing, we always expect one person to score, and that is him.
Okay, so you expect a win for the Man City.
Of course, that is our to win.
Bournemouth against Tottenham Hotspur.
I can't say much about Tottenham Hotspur. They have shown us mixed reactions lately, and they also failed to win their Champions League
Yeah, they
match.
ended up drawing 1-1.
Yeah, and now it's up to the last game to decide if they go to the to the knockout stages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those were games to be focused on Saturday, and now let's turn our attention to the Sunday games, whereby we see Arsenal facing Nottingham Forest at the Emirates Stadium.
Well, as Arsenal's bandit, I really want Arsenal to win this game. This game can be a league decider, because if they lose and Man City win, that means Man City take the top spot. But if they win, they will keep their two-point lead. And this can be a really great boost before we go to the World Cup, before we go to the World Cup break. And I expect Arsenal to win, because especially they are at home. But Nottingham, on the other hand, they have been a really difficult team lately. Yeah, they thrashed Liverpool. And it is a team which, and although they're in the bottom 3 of the league, it's not wise to underestimate them. They can really surprise you. But I really expect Arsenal to win this game.
Now, Manchester United against West Ham at Old Trafford.
Well, West Ham is another team which has not been consistent this season, and they have not been in a great run on form compared to Manchester United. Manchester United have shown a couple of great games recently, and this can be a really easy game for Eric Ten Hag if he wants to, and he can easily take the win.
But we can't say that West Ham is an easy team to beat.
Yeah, of course, West Ham is not an easy team to beat. We have seen them surprise big teams previously. And of course, as I said, this is football. Anything can happen. You can never predict anything 100%.
Yeah.
So let's wait and see. But I expect Manchester United to win.
Well, let's finish up by going to the La Liga. The La Liga, whereby we see that Valencia are going to face Barcelona. Your prediction about that game? Actually, for me, I expect Barcelona to win that game.
Of course.
Because they seem to be performing so well in the league compared to the
Champions League.
Yeah, to the Champions League.
Yeah.
So I expect a win for the Barcelona side. We have Cadiz against Atletico Madrid.
Well, Atletico will be looking to hide their worries from the Champions League knockout, from the Champions League exit. So I also expect them to win. And yeah, I expect Atletico to win.
Now, Real Madrid against Girona.
Well, the Ballon d'Or man has really showed his worth. At Real Madrid, and Real Madrid are a strong team. They're the defending champions, although they lost a game, their Champions League game against Leipzig. Yeah, so I expect them to bounce back and to win this game, because since it is an easy game and they are at home.
Yeah. So well, you heard it there from my football pundit. This was Soccer Friday here at Sports Arena. I was your host, Emmanuel Onyango. Let's wait for tomorrow's game, and let's meet here on Wednesday as we are going to talk more about sports. I wish you a very good day. Let's meet here same time, same place next week.
Peace out.
Alright, welcome once again to Desmond Show on What is Your Story with Dr. Robert. Also remember, once again, we are back. This is a program that happens every Sunday at 6 p.m. only at Romy TV Africa at Dr. Robert Osoro.
So my brother, so you say that you had started this
ulipiga